Alright, fuckers, welcome back to Cute Bots, an artwod workout. Right? This isn't anything what Cute Bots actually looks like. It's 5 steps of like how to draw mechs and shit, right? It's a workout, artwod, right? Great draftsmanship, the best draftsmanship platform, right? Fucking, if you want to learn how to draw properly in terms of from imagination, learning form, learning perspective. Again, form and perspective, those are the two things they just beautifully, they're beautifully drilled. That was fucking, that was cringe as shit. But I've done it, and I can't edit it because I'm too lazy. I actually can't edit it, but it's okay. Just imagine my face puckering up as I as I I don't know what the fuck I'm saying, bro. I just woke up. This is not working. Yeah, today's goal is to draw the hinge shape and just practice and learn that. There you go. There you go. We're just gonna ignore everything that just happened. Why does this light feel like it's so dim, like my ring light? Okay, it made no difference. Well, really shitty cringe intro aside, the goal is to practice visualization, as always, right? See the box, put this in the box. I really want to make sure my lines are even cleaner, so I'm really going to focus on having clean lines, right? I want to make this proportion, really focus on proportion. I want to make this slightly smaller, right? Because this is the size I would like to keep for this part of the hinge, but this is too big for that, right? When I look at the reference, it's too big, way too big for that, so... And I've realized that there's actually less space here. But yeah, draw along. Don't just listen to me ramble. Draw along. Draw along. I'll say it one more time. Draw along. Practice your fundamentals because they're the number one thing that's going to improve your skill. If that thought makes you uncomfortable, that just means you need to improve your mindset, right? Because practicing the difficult things is what's going to make you grow. So I didn't really say anything profound there. I just said the truth. And your mind either responded in two ways, which is fuck that shit, or maybe I should practice things that are difficult, right? But right now I'm just gonna focus on visualization. So first I need to see what the box is, okay? I think I've seen the box. Now we just need to think about, because this needs to be slightly smaller, everything needs to be slightly smaller here, but I need to visualize this. Main thing is I need to visualize this, right? So that's why I need my lines to be, and obviously I'm going to try to draw this from memory as much as possible. That's why I need my lines to be so fucking clean, to be honest, because I'm obviously trying to draw at a size that is much smaller. Okay, that's already incorrect, it's too thick. And again, these are good things. Like when I'm making these mistakes, the mindset should always be this is a good thing, because what am I really focusing on? I'm really focusing on visualizing this entire fucking thing, right? I'm trying to visualize this entire shape, this part of the hinge. And that is extremely difficult, right? Nobody said it would be easy. But if it was easy, it would be, and you might know where I'm going with this, boring. If it was easy, it would be boring. Right, so that is the main thing. Just do not chase things that are easy. You will 100% never, you're like guaranteed to fail if you chase things that are easy. Just looking at the size of this. I'm looking at the reference, but I'm obviously trying to do this from memory more than anything. Now you might be wondering, how does that work? Because I'm looking at the reference purely in terms of like just quickly trying to figure out what the proportions are relatively, right? I'm not looking at the reference as a means to remember or understand the actual shape, right? And yeah, mistakes will be made. And again, the main thing right now for me is just to get the understanding of the, see, I'm trying to visualize, so obviously it's hard to talk while you're doing this. Get the main understanding of the proportions, right? That's what I'm trying to say. And obviously have clean line work, right? And correct perspective. Again, you'll notice there's a common theme, which is just perspective, right? It's just perspective. If there's anything in your art that you're like, this doesn't look right, if you'd be honest with yourself, you would probably realize that, oh shit, it's just my perspective. But the thing is, a lot of you probably don't even know what good perspective looks like because you haven't practiced it enough. And you haven't spent enough time really trying to understand form, right? I hope that rustled a couple feathers, right? A couple people were like, what? I am God? How could you say that? I know everything about perspective. No, you don't, okay? If you can't do this, like what I'm doing right now, if you can't do this from your mind, you don't know perspective, right? And I barely know perspective. So if you can't even do what the bare minimum is, right, then you don't know perspective. And this isn't to be rude. This is just an objective fact, right? I don't know perspective. I'm literally still trying to figure it out. So if I don't know perspective and you can't do this, then you don't know perspective, right? It's just trying to be real here. We're trying to really hashtag Viggy's real. Oh, fuck, see, I fucked that line up. But you need to be honest with yourself as to what your skills are, and you need to confront the truth that your skills are not as impressive as they think they are. And you also need to confront the mindset, that is an amazing thing. My skills aren't as good as I thought they were. That just means there's nowhere to go but up. Holy shit, would you look at that? Okay, so is this? Okay, so if that's right there, right? Because it's just a bit further ahead. Then, oh yeah, then it connects. That's a pretty good spot to be in. But is that still too big? This is still too big? I'm trying to think. Because basically the hinge right now, the hinge mannequin is basically this, like a bunch of fucking joints and quote unquote manipulated, not quote unquote, but like manipulated boxes, right? Like, I still don't know why I'm putting quotes there, but that is the hinge. Well, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna finish this. I made this a bit too small, but it's okay. I'm really trying to understand proportion, right? Proportion. Abortion of the proportion is what we don't want. And the main thing is I'm really doing my best to visualize this entire shape whilst I draw it, right? And of course, I'm really trying to focus on the lines and, like, you know, aligning the grids. Clean line work is really, really, really important for me. So I'm really happy when I make these mistakes. See, like when it keeps fucking missing, right, and skipping. I know somebody bitched at me months back. They're like, why the fuck are you drawing so slow, right? Of course, that person has been living rent-free in my head for ever since, but they were really annoyed. They're like, why are you drawing so slow? Why are you using a brush pen that's so difficult? You should save that for when you're more experienced. And I'm like, that's the most retarded thing ever. I'm never gonna be experienced with the pen if I don't fucking go through all the trial and error of not being experienced with the pen. This is how you know some people just don't know how to learn. And the thing is, okay, this isn't too bad. And the thing is, me simply doing what I'm doing, which is just learning, right, clearly frustrated them enough to the point where they're like, no, you cannot learn like this. It was probably just reflecting on them that, hey, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this extremely difficult thing. Therefore, you shouldn't be doing this extremely difficult thing because it makes me feel as if I should be doing the really difficult thing. This could all be cope. This could all just be a narrative I'm making in my head. But from what I understand of human psychology, which is literally everything because I'm God himself, and I took Psych 101 in university, see, that perspective is off. And that's another thing people don't understand. See, that was completely off. But one thing I feel as if people have a hard time breaking down the fact that everything is a skill, right? So being able to draw an ellipse while something is blocking the path of that ellipse, like being able to do something like this, right? That is really, 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 really hard, especially in the beginning when you've only done this, right? So to just put that behind this, and you have to still visualize that connection. That's incredibly fucking hard. It took me like solid 2-3 hours of consistent practice for that. And even now, like, I make a lot of mistakes with that, right? So people need to really internalize that every single part that is new and different in learning a skill, like learning anything in art, but especially what's it called? But especially when it comes to perspective, like everything you can add on to form, putting some things behind, putting things in front, not even counting intersecting, addition, subtraction, form manipulation, form blending, twisting while manipulating, while blending. Like, dude, it just, that's the beauty of learning form, is that it goes so fucking deep, right? But so it's this way. I see. Okay, so basically this is the shape. This shape right here is attached over here, right? Like that's why these cylinders are there. So obviously I want to keep that size, and and the thing is, like, these were too narrow. Like you'll see, I'll make a little diagram here, but if I were to do it again, it's just like if this was the perspective, which I've horribly drawn, right? You'll see how this is more angled because it's the corners are hitting of that perspective, while this one, it's more like that. And that's not correct, because this follows the angle, this shape that's attached to this, right? This shape that's attached to this hinge that has something coming out that's attached to this, right? It follows this thing's angle. So when it's a narrower angle, when it's a less steep angle, then you'll notice that there's less distance, right? But when they're both like this, there's more distance, therefore the proportions are off, versus this. Like they both have the same hinge point, they're both starting the same. You see, like this is parallel, but as we get less steep, there's less space. I might actually be fucking it up because my hands aren't stable, but I hope I'm making the point clear, at least to myself. But now I have to think about this shape, right? And we're just gonna have to obviously draw over this because I'm trying to understand it. But the main thing is there's obviously this right here, so I have to think about how that connects, right? Because there's a shape that attaches right here and it goes through, so maybe it's something like this right now, because I have to draw that, right? So if it's coming out like this, I probably have to draw from the side view and then rotate that a bunch to really understand it. But for the time being, let's really try to visualize this, right? It's coming across. It's much larger. It's a lot larger actually. So this should have been further out, if anything. But if I'm just gonna try to illustrate my point for myself, by the way, just for myself. I'll just draw the most basic version of this shape, right? Oh, see, I already fucked up the angle, which is good. Not because that's what I want, but because making mistakes is how we learn. See, and I've trained myself to really, really, really enjoy making mistakes. There you go. Okay, so that's kind of it, but this should be much larger. This is actually double the size of this. Yeah, holy shit, yeah. When I look at it from the actual, yeah, it's literally double the size. Okay, so the next step is clear, which is we need to practice having this shape and this shape be proportioned accurately, right? So yeah, I need to think about that, and it needs to be done in a way. Okay, well, we'll do it from the back. That's what she said. That's what he said. Would she do it from the back? I don't fucking know. But let me rest my brain. I encourage you to do so as well. And the goal for this is, it's already been 15 minutes. I'm gonna really try to understand and visualize and just focus on these two things attaching together, right? So yeah, let me rest my brain. Yeah, proportion is very difficult, and I mean, like, it's genuinely very difficult. But I think the most difficult part is just establishing a consistent proportion for yourself, right? Yeah, so this is the size I'll stick with, right? I just need to make sure that it's double this, which is a lot bigger than this actually, which is a lot bigger than I initially thought it would be. So I just need to figure that out. But let's start with okay, we'll start from the back view. And this is roughly this shape. Roughly, it's not perfect. Oh man, I love learning. I love learning so fucking much. Okay, so if this is the box I put it in, then this is going to be angled out this way, right? Because this is the box. Oh wait, no, it's gonna be angled out this way. Yeah, there you go. See, that's why visualization is so important. And that's too big, but we're just trying to understand proportion here. But yeah, let's just try to figure this out. Most important thing, obviously, is just to visualize this. And the main thing I'm trying to visualize as consistent as possible. Like, I keep trying to think about what are the main skills, right? Again, skill. It's all skills. I like to harp on that. I like to harp on that point because more than anything in art, you get the fixed mindset people, right? You get the it's all talent people. And yeah, 30 years from now, when my art skills are fucking exponentially better, there will be idiots who will be calling me talented. Like, without a doubt, there will be absolute fucking morons who will be calling me talented, right? But this is actually the main reason this channel exists, to just to completely just shut that down, and to turn the it's all talent crowd to just begrudgingly admit that, I guess I just don't have the work ethic. I guess I just don't give enough of a shit, right? That is basically one of it's never been the big goal in my mind, but the big goal's always been to show people the work it takes. But yeah, like that is something that motivates me, in the sense that I can't wait to shut up all the fucking idiots who keep saying the word talent. Like, genuinely, that is, it's a great feeling to do something out of spite. But it's something I feel strongly about. Not the spite, that was just a joke. But to just make people be like, bro, just admit it. Just admit you don't care enough, and admit you're not learning in a way that's conducive to your growth, and admit that your mindset isn't the best, and admit that you're not trying hard enough as well. There are ways to try hard. You're just not doing it. And a lot of it comes down to, again, understanding form, understanding perspective, right? And people, I'm sure, like, I'll get critiques being like, it's not the only thing. Okay, no shit, retard. I know it's not the only fucking thing, but if you can't draw something realistically, you're clearly gonna struggle with drawing anything, right? And no, I'm not a painter, so we're not talking about painting, right? But even then, understanding form is only gonna pay off in extreme dividends when it comes to painting as well, right? What do you think you're painting on top of? What do you think you're reflecting with your large brush strokes? Form. And yeah, like, okay, so apart from that, what I'm visualizing right now is the box. I'm trying to really get that in my mind. I'm pretty sure the angle here is off, even though I thought I got it. No, yeah, see, it's still a bit off, but it's not the main point right now. The main point is this should have been thinner as well, and I'm pretty sure this was off center as well, so I should have kept it more to the left over here. But, and again, I'm trying to visualize this entire thing. I want to keep making that clear, like, hey, there's constant extreme cognitive effort being applied. I want to put emphasis on extreme cognitive effort, because that's what drawing is. And think about it this way, right? It is very difficult to visualize, and it is very difficult to visualize. That's number one. It's very difficult to visualize while drawing. That's number two. It's very difficult to think ahead, right? And it's very difficult to think ahead while drawing. And this all goes back to the visualization. So you should just expect friction, right? You should literally just expect friction, because when you expect friction, it makes things a lot easier. Like, dude, I can't even explain how many times I've lost the perspective at this point. It's hilarious how many times I've lost the perspective. And that's good, because the thing is, that means the more times I'm losing the perspective, the more times I'm making an effort to essentially have the perspective back, right? If that makes sense. So again, it's all skills. Skills? Why did I say skills like that? It's all skills. Like, dude, I keep losing the perspective. It just keeps going away. But that's not a bad thing, because I'm making an effort to visualize everything. Let's not forget, you're making an effort to visualize everything, right? That is extremely difficult. The only thing that's changing is your capacity to visualize will slowly, incrementally improve over months and months and months and months and years and years and years and years, right? And to put that into context of repetitions, hundreds and hundreds and thousands, right? So do not forget the rule of volume and intent. Those are the only two things that matter: volume, intent, and obviously consistency, right? And this is why you just gotta keep trying and know that like again, power of yet, right? I can't do this yet, right? Not I can't do this, period. I can't do this yet. Fucking Carol Dwelk Sama. Dwelk? Holy shit. Carol Dweck Sama, right? Anyways, okay, so this is double. So this is where proportion comes into play, and perspective, because not only do I have to be able to calculate this as a double, I have to be able to do it correctly in perspective. So if this is half, then this is the full thing. That's pretty fucking big. Okay, so obviously I'm gonna look at the shape a little here to understand. And there is a cylindrical cutout. Oh, I actually shouldn't have drawn this side. That makes sense. Yeah, there's a cylindrical cutout. Not cylindrical, sorry, elliptical cutout. So something like this. What did I say? Did I say cylindrical again? I meant, yeah, why did I say elliptical? That's wrong too. Spherical. There's a spherical cutout. And okay, I see this is like, again, where I need to really, because this meets here, right? This is the halfway point. This meets here, but this shape, because it's coming, if I'm gonna draw, okay, well, first of all, let's just reinforce to ourselves the hinge, because it's always good to reinforce the functionality of the thing we're drawing, especially when function is involved, right? So yeah, there you go. That's the hinge. Okay, but anyways, the main thing to understand here is, like, if this is this hinge shape, right? Little attachment, and then you move further and it's like this. Basically, because I'm trying to rotate this while I look at it, it's something is coming through like this, right? And that's what's attaching to it. So I need to be aware of the fact that there is an opposite angle that's occurring, and it's about calculating where is that opposite angle occurring from. And I think that's why this needs to be wider. Actually, there it is. That's the problem right now, is I have actually been positioning these wrong. This little, because this is not wide enough, right? This hinge attachment for this one, I need to move it further to the left. So just constant analysis. And I need to visualize this, because I need to visualize the box, and I need to visualize the opposite angle, and I need to see exactly, in the context of these two being attached, where that would happen. And that's very difficult right now, but this is the most important part, where I'm really thinking, oh, I'm thinking so hard. No, I'm seriously, like, this is extremely difficult. And I want to, again, always make clear that this is very difficult. But when you put it in the box and you think about the angle within the box, I think, if I look at the example as well, okay, so it should be something like this. This is where the hinge is coming from. Oh, it's incorrect angle. and we got something like this. Right, this has to be much thinner, obviously, because I fucked up the... There you go. And then it's attaching through there. Right? And then... if this is the perspective, so I just need to... Oh no, it should have been further out, actually. Because if I think... Actually, no. Yeah, this should have been further out, this one. But dude, that already looks so much more legit, right? That definitely looks so much more legit. And then this is where there's another little hinge right there. Should have made it bigger. I love this because it's gonna make my line work so much cleaner too. Because this is actually chamfered at the edge. So you can imagine how clean my lines need to be, especially when everything is so tiny and needs to be together, right? I'm just gonna keep drilling this because drawing this hinge in this proportion, because let's not forget, there's all this, right? Right now, what I'm drawing is just this one, this line, this shape, and this shape, these three, right? So that's what we're at right now. There's still three more. So drawing this hinge in this proportion, I feel as if just getting down the clean line work for it is it's gonna improve my lines and my proportions so much, right? And obviously I'm gonna put the work in to make sure that it's improved so much, but let's see. Okay, we got, again, this is chamfered on this side. Got to keep thinking about the perspective. And that's the most difficult part, is to keep visualizing the perspective. I'll be honest, but again, if it's not difficult, it is not worth doing. Because you have to keep thinking. You have to keep thinking, right? And if you shy away from thinking, you just got to force yourself to keep thinking. It's literally just what it is. We have to keep thinking, right? And the more we think, the better we get. Literally, it's just a fact. The more you think, the better you get, right? So we'll cut that off for now, right? That's the box cut out. It's a subtraction, right? There's a box subtraction in there. It should be coming in through here, right? The angle's a bit off again. This should have been a bit further out, I believe. But this is why we're going to keep practicing this. We're going to keep practicing this. And then there's a cutout over here. Like so. This should have been much bigger, right? And that's not even the end, because again, there's another one. If there's one diagonal coming like this, there's another diagonal coming like that, because that's how it's attached, right? We have this shape, and then it's attaching there as well. So there's two things attaching through this, which is, again, this hinge is teaching me a lot about how we can make, not only how we can make interesting shapes, right, in hinges, but how we can have things attached. So it's good to think about that as well. And I'm obviously trying to keep everything in perspective in my mind as much as possible while I do this. And let's try doing the shape from memory. So I said it's not facing up. Yeah, obviously it makes sense. So it's like this. Something like that. Right? And, oh no, it's like that. So that line should not exist. And then there is there an ellipse here? Yeah, there's like an ellipse here because there's a cutout. Does that make sense? Or maybe this line does exist. Well, for the sake of simplicity, we'll just have this connect like that. Okay, it doesn't look too bad. The thing is, the main issues right now are, apart from proportion issues and alignment issues, is line, right? My line quality. I'm drawing a bit too slow, so obviously I need to focus more on confidence whilst I draw, right? And that's a big part of it as well. So we're just gonna keep doing this. We're just gonna keep trying to understand. And again, if we were to, again, keep trying to visualize this perspective, because this is actually a very difficult perspective to visualize for me, right? Damn, these fucking burps sound like missiles. No, missiles don't make that much noise. They sound like bombs. There you go. And I think, yeah, the main thing is just keep working on lines, right? Keep working on my line quality, because I think I've gotten pretty okay with being able to draw from the halfway point now. Like, my lines don't really suffer that much in terms of stability, but obviously, like, this is the next level of line quality, right? Where before my baseline was something like I can't even do it anymore, like that thick, and then it became slightly thinner and slightly thinner, and now we're trying to get to like even thinner than that, and you see like it breaks up and it gets very difficult. But that is how you progress. It's like the little micro improvements. Oh, and by the way, just to make it very clear, to go from this thickness of line to even what I'm at right now, this thickness, it's been 2 years. All right, and consistently practicing from go to this to this. So I hope that again makes it clear. You know, fucking there's a difference of like what, 200 hours, 300, 400 hours, plus 400, 500 hours between this thickness and that thickness. Anyways, let me rest my brain. I hope, I encourage you to rest your brain as well, and we'll get back to it. All right, let me keep drawing this from different perspectives, because it's the only way my brain's gonna understand. And this is actually, I think this is the proportion to keep it as. That's too big. This is a good size. This is definitely a good size. And the reason I'm even doing it like this is so I can improve my lines more than anything, right? The line qualities improvements are gonna be, I personally feel as if they're gonna be great, right? But it's gonna go through growing pains right now, where I'm gonna draw slowly and shakily, and that's the best part, because that's where I can learn, right? See, already, is that too small? That might be too small. Okay, it's definitely too small, but the proportions won't change that much, right? It's more about the general understanding. And again, while I'm drawing this, by the way, I'm consistently trying to keep the box in my mind, as well as literally visualizing the entire thing on the left. Fucking killing my brain, right? And clearly it's very difficult. So yeah, see, like, while I'm making these lines, I'm trying so hard to visualize what's already there. You know what I mean? And obviously that's off perspective, and it's a bit off in general, but I got to think about how it's going to be connected. So this is my perspective that I've established. So this is the angles, right? It doesn't actually, wait. Yeah, this is the angle. So again, we have to think about, well, we can have it from the middle here. Okay, that's a bit too short. That's way too short, but we've committed, so we must again commit. Right? And this is the part where we need to figure out the angle. Okay, like, again, the box, visualize. And let's see. I'm not trying to make it exactly perfect, but this general angling is going to be beneficial for me, right? So yeah, because I don't really do things from these angles, that's why I'm doing it right now, because I want to challenge myself. And I have to think about the size of this thing back here. as well. Yeah, this was actually so much smaller, Jesus Christ. But it's okay, because that's a good mistake, right? All mistakes are good mistakes if you can learn from them. So how can I adapt the size of what I'm drawing to this? Or do I even need to make it that much smaller, right? I just need to adapt my drawing, you know? Dude, these are the coffee burps right there. Kill me. Anyways, let's see. Yeah, like I want to be very clear. There's a lot of intense visualization going on right now. And that's the thing, it's just an attempt, right? These are just attempts of visualization. You know, they're not perfect understandings or recreations. See, that line was horrible, right? Absolutely fucking dog shit. And that's a good thing. Oh, see, and I didn't do a spherical cutout here, so that's a mistake. We'll have to acknowledge that. I mean, I've already acknowledged it, but see, like now that we have two angles, it's so hard to think about the overall perspective. That's another thing. It's like when you are only thinking one perspective and then something happens that gets in the way, not gets in the way, but changes that, right? Like there are additional manipulations. It completely fucks with how you visualize things, right? And that is also really important skill to focus on. See, like we have to think, okay, so that's centered, and then we have something coming out like that. So yeah, so like it should be right around here. See? Makes sense relatively, I would say. And this we just, because it's the other opposite end, so we only see that side, right? Because it's going through the other way. Actually, I don't even think we see a cutout from this angle. Oof, so difficult, so difficult. But very good. Okay, now let's see. We have to try at least to see the entire thing. But we don't really see anything from here. Do we? Hold up, we have to. It doesn't make any sense not to. I'm trying to think. Oof. See, this is the most important part. I want to keep emphasizing, like this part where I'm just really trying to think it out. In terms of, like I'm doing calculations, trying to see where it's centered, right? The shapes that are involved. Yeah, we wouldn't see it from this angle. We just wouldn't, I don't think. Because it doesn't make any sense, right? It'll be coming through here, and then it'll just be going down there. Yeah, it'll be coming through here, be attaching, and then this will just go down like so, and then this is where it's centered, right? Yeah, we actually wouldn't see it from this angle. Damn, I ended up choosing an angle that we don't see it from, I believe. Okay, well, let's do a different angle then. Jesus. But let me rest my brain, and then we'll keep going. We're gonna keep trying to make decent proportions. Obviously, like this is way too small, so it needs to be. It's the thing is, when you start drawing this small, the proportions getting messed up actually is like it's pretty noticeable, right? Because every tiny little change makes a huge difference. But it should be a bit more like that. So small, right? But it completely changes how things can be done in terms of like the sizing and the relation, right? There's that. Oh, well, actually, what am I doing? There's literally a cylinder in the middle that's where it comes from, right? That's what it attaches through. Okay, let me rest my brain. I encourage you to do so as well. Okay, let's try it from a different angle now. Right? Continuously just trying to understand the shape and how it's connected is going to be very important. I mean, I'll keep saying the same shit over and over, but it's true, right? Understanding how it's connecting is going to be really important. I'm going to bring it over here because I don't know if I'll have space. That's another thing, right? Being able to understand the proportion of what you're drawing in. At the end of the day, this box was not that big, so in the same vein, the box I'm drawing now should not be that big either. So, you know what? Let's actually challenge ourselves. There's no point to doing anything if we're not challenging ourselves. I'm just trying to think about the perspective I want it in. It's like that. Is that too big or too small? Let's make it slightly bigger. Right? And okay, like this is the thing, like it's so easy to just get caught up in the big detail or the small detail, but you need to think big. Like I'm consistently trying to focus on the entire thing because the goal is to be able to visualize this entire thing, right? So we have to start there. Okay, let's just see how I did this. So these are my relative proportions. That's too big. That ended up being way too big, but it's okay. We'll work it out. And it's a mistake, and mistakes are good anyways. Again, we have to think about the angle that this is in, which is this. The funny thing is, I also need to think about is the fact that like this comes out before, right? So actually I need to get this going. And let's not forget that everything can be solved with patience and just taking my time to understand how things connect. Right? I'm pretty sure that's an incorrect sphere. Spherical subtraction, pretty sure that's incorrect. It should have been more pronounced on this other plane over here. But yeah, see, like these thin lines are achievable. It's very clear that it's achievable. Because if I look at Kim Jong-il's drawings, or Peter Han, or Dong Ho Kim, or any of those beautiful motherfuckers, they're able to achieve it too. And the thing is, like, this is not the end-all be-all, right? In terms of like, okay, I'm not just gonna always be drawing this small and thin, but it's like if I'm gonna be drawing this hinge shape, and obviously it's such a large, complicated shape. Personally, for me, I obviously want to make it a bit smaller so it can fit on the page better, right? So it's just like, you know what? If that's what it is, then why don't I just make my lines cleaner and better while I'm at it? You know, challenge myself, for that is art. Right, there you go. That's a bit better. See, I lost the perspective multiple times there, and I couldn't visualize the thing multiple times there, but it's the attempt. It's always the attempt. Never forget that. It's just the attempt. right? Like, are you trying? Are you genuinely, trying so hard to figure this out, to make sure it all makes sense, to visualize? If the answer is yes, then GG, mate, you're on the right path. At least that's what I tell myself. What if I'm completely wrong? Well, if I'm completely wrong, we'll have 30 years worth of content to prove that I'm completely wrong. So either way, it's a win. Don't do what I did, right? I literally cannot lose. Okay, and again, we need to, so we'll finish this first. That's a mistake. And I understand that after a while, like, details just get lost. But it always comes down to how good my lines are at the end of the day, in my belief. Right? It literally just comes down to how good are my lines. Let's see. It feels as if I made this too thick. Because again, losing perspective consistently. But we're trying to figure it out. We are trying so hard. Oh, it's a try hard boner right there. It's getting better, I feel. Again, it's gonna be awesome when I'm just excited for when my lines continuously get more nuanced and I'm able to make cleaner details, right? Okay, so this is where the difficulty comes in. So we have something that swoops in like this, right? Like that. That is a shape. If I look at the reference, not that I want to break my focus, but yeah, that is a shape. So it's just about understanding where that would be, because it's coming to the middle. So if it's like and my head keeps fucking hitting the camera. I've been having this happen for the past 4 days now, but that's the middle. Then I just need to think like, okay, then it's this. Right, but that's still off. It should be lower, actually. Yeah, it should be a lot lower. But it's okay, we've committed now. Yeah, because see, this is supposed to be at the center, so we've already made the mistake of not accounting this to be in the center. Because this cylinder goes through, and this is why clean line work is so important, especially here. Right, because, and then we have this little thing that is the manipulated cylinder with the cutout. Try to think it through. Okay, well, it's kind of like I have to find the balance between the sizes, but you can see like this is proportionally very different and very off compared to this, right? Maybe it should be a bit larger, or maybe I just need to not put in every little detail, or more accurately, just literally keep trying to see how much detail I can put in with extremely thin lines. And worst case scenario is like, oh, it looks pretty clean and it looks like there's a decent amount of detail. So it's a win either way. Yeah. So I guess it's fine either. Oh shit, I fucking shook the shit out of the camera. My bad. My bad. There you go. It looks relatively well positioned. Yeah, I think that's okay, right? Fuck, hold up. There you go. I don't think I made any difference. Okay, well, I just need to be aware of the fucking ring light stand. Don't worry, when this channel actually when this channel actually provides any sort of monetary compensation, or I just get a job, hopefully, fucking one day. Not hopefully, I'll make it happen. There's no point thinking hopefully. Let's rephrase that, right? When I get a job, I should be able to invest more appropriately to my YouTube setup. At least in terms of not having this ring light constantly be in the way. Don't get me wrong, it's a great setup, but you know, like actually having a proper camera, even though the phone's good. I don't even know what the fuck I'm saying. What's the point? Clearly it's not that bad. But this is good. This is like a sneak peek into the line work and proportions I'll be able to achieve, right? And it's not like, okay, now we know that this needs to be lower. And if you look at the reference, it's true. This is obviously a bit muddied. It needs to be cleaner. That actually is, these two perspectives are actually off because I didn't do it correctly from this side. But it's getting better. I'm actually starting to see the box a decent amount more, right? Which I'm glad about, but I still need to, I think this proportion is slightly better. So this is actually the best part, is I can really focus on getting proportion down, because clearly if a tiny 3 millimeters is going to make such a big difference, then it's only an opportunity to really refine my eye for proportion, right? So yeah, let me rest my brain. We'll draw one more probably here somewhere, and then and then it'll probably be the end of the practice session, like the hour at that point. But yeah, I want to make it clear that at the end of the day, as long as you're trying, you are progressing, and actually trying. Like, as long as you're doing your absolute best to remain as consistently as possible in that state of discomfort and focus and just really trying to understand things, right? It's almost impossible not to make progress, I think. I would say, I mean, my experiences are clearly a testament to the fact that we can make slow, linear, gradual progress consistently over time, right? And focusing on skills that compound on each other, like spatial reasoning, line work, form, and then again, intricacies in that, right? More complex spatial reasoning, more complex line work, more unique combinations of form manipulations and intersections. And the beautiful part about this, like, I still don't know how to draw so many different types of form manipulations. I've only gone through like a third of the artwod beginner roadmap, but I've just drilled the shit out of what I've learned from that specific third, that other types of form manipulations already are starting to become much more understandable. Right? Does that make sense? No? Then suck a dick. Anyways, okay, we need to think about different we need to think about different perspectives I can do it in, because I've only drawn 4 things this entire session. Goes to show the power of not being good, or maybe the power of taking my time. That's the angle I want to pursue. Oh, I forgot to add the chamfered thing here. Same with here. Oh, see that, dude? That's like a horrible fucking line. Let's just leave it. But okay, what angle do I want? I mean, the thing is, like, the bottom angle doesn't really make sense right now because you can't really see anything, but maybe that's why I should do it, right? Keep drilling that into my head. Yeah, let's do a bottom angle that's not as, yeah, we'll do it like this. And I'm gonna try to remember the proportions that I'm establishing. Right? This is already too small, so let's make it slightly bigger. Oh yeah, good news. I might just be streaming with Broken Draw at a certain point in November. There you go. That's more accurate. Still a bit too small, But the fact that I can see that now is also important. Obviously, this rounding is incorrect. This rounding is incorrect. That rounding's correct. This rounding's a bit too much. Right, but yeah, it's very likely that me and him will be doing a stream. Then I can leech off his audience and be like, haha, support your small creators. It'll be great. Right, the bigger he gets, the bigger I get. And I'm not talking about subs. Okay, again, that's inaccurate. And let's just establish these cutouts, even though they're a bit too large, I believe. But it's good, it centers what I need to center. The most important part about drawing is just enjoying the errors. Like making the mistakes and be like, wonderful, this is a fucking amazing mistake. Because that's what your brain, the more you can recognize mistakes and the more you can attribute positive emotions towards your mistakes, the better you're going to be off, to be honest. Because it's how our brains learn, right? I think, again, like error recognition is such a huge part of learning. Like if you don't know what you did wrong, then you're not going to know, obviously, and then you're not going to learn, right? It seems kind of like, oh, well, fucking duh, but you cannot blame yourself for not knowing what's wrong, but you can take action on removing that ignorance, right? And that's what we're all doing right now. We're just taking the small gradual steps towards removing ignorance. And that's why you got to enjoy that part, right? That's why we have to enjoy removing the ignorance. And again, what am I ignorant about? I'm ignorant about the fact that I can't consistently keep the box in my mind while I draw. I'm ignorant about the fact that I can't visualize the entire thing. I'm ignorant about the fact that I'm still trying to figure out what makes sense here in terms of these shapes, right? Like, what is the shape? I'm ignorant about a million things. And who knows, maybe that's not like the quote-unquote optimal way to define ignorance, but are we working towards things and are we doing our best to understand those things? If the answer is, see, like, that's way too thick. It's way too thick. So I'm clearly ignorant about not thinking ahead in proportions. So many things. That's why thinking ahead is so important, right? I'll be completely honest, I might practice more of this off camera because I'm going to be meeting up with my girlfriend today and then we're going to be chilling, right? So there might be some drawing involved today or tomorrow that isn't recorded, right? Again, always full transparency, but main thing is right now I'm just trying to figure this out. And obviously, I'm trying to keep my hands loose, to be honest, right? And that's another thing I'm trying to focus on, again, while thinking about the entire shape, right? See, like, it's so easy to just lose the ability to see what's underneath here, but that's why I have to think really hard, right? And again, these lines are not the best. We have to be honest with ourselves there as well. And it's like, okay, well, is this the correct thickness? It seems to be okay. Okay, it's not bad. There's a lot of things that could be improved, and that's the best part. Okay, and then this is more in the middle, because we have something that's, if this is the angle, then we have something coming out like that. So actually, this should be right here. So I think I made this too long, actually. Or maybe I didn't make it thick enough. I don't think I made it thick enough. There's so many little proportion nuances I'm still trying to get down. Because something like this, if I think about the box, right? Oh, I didn't make this enough of a drastic angle now that I see it, right? I didn't make it enough of a drastic angle. So yeah, this is why there's gonna be a huge space between these two. But if I'm just thinking like really, really hard, I'm just thinking really hard, then this should be, oh yeah, roughly like that. So this is where this should be. Oh, see, and I keep forgetting the spherical cutout. So again, good little things here and there that will remind us what we're doing wrong. And it's okay to use the word wrong, by the way. I don't know why I have to keep giving people fucking permission to draw in a certain way, but I think art is just one of those things because it's so close to the heart in terms of a skill. And I don't mean like in a wishy-washy way, like it's just something that's so close to the heart. No, I mean literally like it's a very visceral skill, right? It's you make a line and the line feels reflective of yourself rather than your current ability. I don't know why art is one of those skills. I think anything that has tactile, immediate feedback, right? And obviously we live in a society, hashtag we live in a society that promotes just one of the fucking worst mindsets for learning known to mankind, right? If aliens existed and they're like, how does the species learn? Like, how the fuck did they get this far by having an education system that just promotes immediate success, right? Either you get it or you don't type of mindset. Our education system literally tells us that we cannot get better. It's okay. It doesn't explicitly say you can't get better. It just explicitly, through its system of grading us, says, hey, if you don't get this in a few tries, you're basically fucking dumb, right? And oh, sorry, like you still don't understand that concept. Well, we moved on. We're on to the next test. We're on to the next subject. GG, keep up, retard. Right? Like it's fucking horrible. At least in the Western world, where I'm in Canada, so that's what it feels like to me here. But then again, I think this is adopted in most countries. Okay, yeah, see, it's actually a bit, this is correct. Okay, lost the perspective. Yeah, I want to be clear, I lose the perspective quite often. But I'm always making an attempt to regain it in my mind. And this is why visualization is so important, right? Because we can train ourselves to see it, essentially. Okay, see that could have been thicker, this should have been further out, right? So that's not bad actually, because this is the perspective, it's going that way, then this right here will just come straight through. That's pretty good. That there is learning. I am a slow learner. I'm just completely just ripping that off Zanny. If anybody watches Zanny. Okay, and then we don't really, actually do we? It's coming through here as well, same thing. So where's the opening from? Oh, the opening is literally here. Cool. Yeah. Right. And it's not like he just kind of got the meme from everything else, but oh, and let's add this nuance because it's yeah, it's beveled on that side too. It's beveled on all sides actually, so, but we don't see it on the other side. Okay, it's not bad. I'm slowly getting better. I still think what I did here was essentially not perfect, but it was set a really good precedent for the proportions, and maybe it's just because it's clearer to see, right? I'm gonna keep working on it, and this is great. Like I think I'm gonna really spend a lot of time refining this and getting my lines down, because the cleaner this is, the cleaner everything else will be, right? So this is a great opportunity to just really drill the fuck out of this and understand how this works. Oh, and again, speaking of how it works, we obviously have to put the hinge mechanism in our mind. So this is my perspective. See that? See, like I need to be able to intuitively just create extremely thin lines, but intuition only comes from hours and hours and hours of practice. Is that the correct perspective? A little bit, not really, but yeah, like it's hinging, right? It's attaching. At the end of the day, this hinge that I draw is gonna be like this big, right? So the point is to be able to do it in any angle, any perspective, anything, and just keep uncentering the page. Hopefully that's fine. But good session. I really tried to fucking visualize. I made a lot of mistakes, right? I kept trying to understand the shape that I was drawing. And I'll be honest, like it's like different difficulties, right? The difficulties here are line quality, keeping the details. Here it was understanding the details when it's much larger, right? So it's not bad. And we will end up drawing a pretty complicated hinge down the line. And I think this is really going to help me understand hinges and how they can connect and little things we can do like in terms of the shapes and stuff. So I'm just going to keep trying to understand that. But yeah, I hope you all had fun. Yeah, it's been an hour and 5 minutes. Yeah, I hope you all fucking tried your best, really tried to understand, right? Always lots of mistakes being made. Here, I forgot to add the spherical cutout, right? It should have been something like this. Actually, do we even see it? We see a little bit of it, but I believe it should have been something like, if this was this thing, it should have been, yeah, it should have been something like that. But that being said, as always, hope you tried your best and really enjoyed the effort you put in and made lots of mistakes and just kept trying to fucking visualize and think as hard as you could. But yeah, anyways, as always, fuck you for watching. I keep drawing, and please give me money. Thank you. Thank you.